welcome to the Fourth Place podcast with
Yes.
Marcus and
G'day,
special
guys.
guest.
Marcus the Motivate. This is my mate here, Nick. We spend a fair bit of time together, you would say.
We do.
We have a bit of fun, talk some shit. In fact, let's be honest, it's already been a very interesting day just to get things started.
Yeah, so tell us what happened.
You and I had a hit of golf this afternoon, which, let's be honest, I beat you again, you hack. Let's be honest.
Well,
you're no good.
There's an age factor, but you know.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Golf, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Are you saying because you're a bit older than I am, that's your excuse, is it?
Well, there's talent as well, but also, I've got half a spine, and you're pretty spineless yourself. it's just one of those things. It's just a natural ability to get around.
So you're making excuses for your lack of ability, are you?
For the people over 50, yeah, we do. I'm just, the other day I just got the highlight again. I got the bowel test, and that was great to have something free sent to you, and then you go off and then you have your 30 seconds of fame, and then come back and then realise that you have to post it off to some person who's going to test it and see if you're all right or not. But it's good, Yeah.
Well, we've got
That's an interesting view. His eyes are like right between the thing too.
You got to get me out of here. I didn't do it.
So
I was framed. Yeah.
So I mean, we've got that to look forward to in later on in life, don't we, James?
Yes,
it's
we make it
quite
that far.
clear.
Yeah.
Now,
Do you want to talk about?
we may as well get
talking about
launched.
health. Do you want to talk about how I pushed your car 100 metres tonight?
Yeah, well,
it broke down.
So I picked Nick up on the way to here, and my car somehow ran out of petrol on the way here. Unknowingly, we actually ran out of petrol.
100 metres from the station.
Thankfully, it was only 100 metres from the petrol station.
Yeah, I don't know why. Cars and petrol, they go well. Yeah. Amazing.
And so we had to push
it was
it.
a hybrid though, didn't you?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, well.
But
Was it on the E and like at the very?
No, because it was like it wasn't even like
the needle was lying because it actually said a bit, that little bit more, but it actually wasn't. So,
So the it wasn't like the red flashing or anything. So we were like, okay. Or as I was like, well, what the hell? What's going on?
Yeah.
So that happened. So you almost died on me, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I wasn't great.
I've never seen you. I've never seen you in that state.
I don't often push a 1.5 ton car down Warrigal Road and then feel good and go, hey, let's go out. Let's go out. I got a spring in my step. It doesn't really happen.
Yeah, no, yeah. True.
Well, that actually reminds me. The last time that I saw you, I actually had a similar thing. So I was on the E and I got down to 20 kilometers according to what my car said. And guess where I stopped for petrol? So this is on the way back.
What was?
The one town of all the towns on the way to thingy. I don't even remember the name of the place.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Was. No, I can't remember.
I don't remember the name, but all I remember is for the pub that we're in. And
that red one.
No, the one with the two prostitutes in there. And
you got that. You got there.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh. So to give you some context, we just did a road trip recently to Sydney, and we stopped in at a few pubs, and there was one pub we stopped in.
Brothels.
There's one. This one was both.
I mean, there's nothing worse than going to a brothel and say to the chick how is, and she goes, "Oh, this is a bit up and down, nothing's really happening." So
we stopped off at one pub and there were a couple of girls sitting at the end of the I'm like, okay, all right, what the fuck's going on
Marcus,
here?
you're back. Get in the VIP car.
Whenever our friend came in, literally they said to each other, "Yes, another one."
Another one. Because there were three of us who'd walked in. They were like, "Oh, fresh meat."
Because everyone else in there was old and
yeah, we were the youngest people in there by what, 40 years probably. Probably by 40 years. So. We had to push the car to get petrol.
We did,
and then we got a bit further down Warrigal Road, and I may have had a beverage,
From the club, yeah. And
from a club.
And then what should be another kilometre up the road, a booze bus.
Really? Yeah.
A booze bus.
So we kind of switched who was driving.
Did the old switcheroo.
Did the old switcheroo of who was driving.
And then we realised that the booze bus was there flashing, but they were all inside.
They were all in having a break, having dinner. So
It's quite fun.
so that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So that was entertaining, and
So it actually could have been a benefit for you to run out of petrol.
it probably was. Yeah, it probably was in the end, considering. So, because there would have been half a chance that I could have run out of petrol. You imagine how it would be if I ran out of petrol in front of the middle of the booze bus?
Whilst
Well,
drunk.
that could have happened right there and then.
Over and your car breaks down. There.
That definitely would have gone out.
It's not on my highlight. It's not on my highlight reel, but I got it. Yeah. What'd you do last night? Oh, I just thought I'd just drain the car, push it 100 metres, get caught up with the cops, and then blow in the bag and then be done. It was a big night. Big night. I love it.
So that's how our day has been so far.
Yeah, it's been a bit manky, but it's getting better.
It has been a bit. It's been a bit feral, to be honest. Right.
Yeah, it has been.
So, James, what have you got for us?
I have some.
So let's
stories.
get started. What have you got for us?
Okay, so you know how we've been talking about random names every week of different people. So to fill you in, there was a woman who changed her name to Camel Toe legally.
Oh, okay.
And she
Not
was,
Ophelia.
no.
Ophelia is a great name. I love Ophelia.
Peter.
Or Sonia. Can I get on ya? You know, you go back to the old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was a woman. She changed her name to Camel Toe, and she got a tattoo on her toe of a camel. And she would go around the guys and say, "Do you want to see my camel toe?"
Yeah.
And show them the tattoo.
Yeah.
Well, there's a guy who he can't travel overseas because he changed his name from Kenny Kennard to Kenny Fu Kennard. And they won't let him travel overseas or get a passport because the name is too offensive now.
The name's too offensive.
Yeah.
So Kenny Fu Kennard
Yep.
is too offensive.
Yeah. So people won't let him travel overseas.
I can think of. I reckon
Is
there's.
that here or is
No,
it
this is in the UK.
in the UK?
So I reckon that surely there's a lot more offensive names than Kenny Fu Kennard.
Yeah. Well, this is also the second time this guy has changed his name. When he was 16, he became Coco Kenny as his legal name.
Coco Kenny.
Yeah, Coco Kenny.
Why would?
But then he changed that because he joined the military and wanted to be taken seriously.
Yeah. It's extremely weird, but I've never wanted to be called Mike Hunt. You know, that's just the name I never wanted. You know, especially on Depop. You know,
Well, would you want to change your name to
to Michael Hunt, not
Michael?
Yeah, it's a big difference. Yeah,
How do you reckon you'd go with the name Michael Hunt?
Michael, not too great really. I'm happy where I am. I think.
You're good with Nick?
Yeah, I'm good with Nick.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy with Nick.
But it'd be great to if in high school or something to have substitute teachers and have them read out. Is my cunt here?
Is Michael?
It's my country. Yeah.
Or even Starbucks as well. Starbucks is the other
yeah.
go-to of.
Yeah.
You're right. Imagine there's someone yelling behind the counter. My cunt.
Yeah.
Strawberry frappuccino for my cunt.
Yeah. Well, it sort of reminds me. Many years ago, I'll tell you this story. I was in this nightclub, and there was this pretty good-looking girl. Anyway, I thought I have a chance. I'm half cut. I have a crack, and I went up to her, and she was pretty hot. And I went up to her, said, "How you going? How's your night?" And she just went like that to me, and I went, "So what's going on?" And she goes, "You know what? When I was in Baghdad, you were still in your dad's bag." And I went, you know what? Have a good night. And I just kept moving on. But I haven't really recovered from
Wait, was she was Iraqi or she's
she
was in the
telling
army?
as it is. She
Oh.
didn't know I had no chance. She was just telling me how it was.
It's a very weird way to say it though.
Yeah, well, she meant that she'd been there and I hadn't travelled there and I got no chance of getting there. So it's just something to capture and yeah.
Now, normally I'm the one. Normally he's the one putting the microphone because I don't.
Oh, real? Yeah.
If you can, try and talk into the microphone.
Thank you.
You're acting like a total snob the way you're saying that.
No, no, because I'm normally the one who has
bring it to the
no
mouth.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm normally the one who has no idea how to talk into a microphone. Would you agree with that, James?
Yes, it's taken a long time for him to learn.
Yeah, I'm still slowly learning that, to be honest. So,
It would be a very weird way to decide who you sleep with, though, based on if they've been to Baghdad or not.
Yeah, well, let's hope she hadn't been there because there's more than camels and not on the toes. It's quite weird.
You could have had a very interesting night with that woman.
Yeah, I could have.
Did you think about what if?
No, I was scarred. I was scarred. I was about that big after it. But,
because you were thinking about being back in your...
Oh, look, I thought you think you're a chance, and it was actually quite, it was quite funny, but also the state I was in, I really didn't give a shit, so it didn't really matter. But I thought I'll take that on board, so it was quite funny. Yeah, it was really, really cool.
So what else has been going on with the rest of the world in the last week, James?
What else has Marcus been up to?
Well, yes, I've been up to all kinds of shit, to be honest.
Let me find a nice, interesting one to get us into some kind of... Okay, in America, there were 5 guys arrested, and guess what the name of what location it would be? Where would be an interesting place for 5 men to be arrested at?
I'd say New York.
I was going to say outside the jail.
Well, what about outside Five Guys restaurant? It's 5 guys were arrested outside Five Guys, a Five Guys restaurant.
Where's this? Whereabouts in America? Is it
Florida.
Florida.
Everything's in Florida.
Everything's in Florida in America normally.
You basically, every one of these stories is what happened in Florida this week.
What the fuck is going on in Florida?
I don't fucking know. But there was another story in Florida where the police actually warned people not to flush meth down the toilet because it was going to create meth alligators. Mm-hmm. Because the sewage system goes out to where the alligators are. Right. And they're worried about alligators actually eating people's meth.
That would be interesting. What do you reckon? What kind of what do you reckon an alligator would do on, say, illicit substances? They'd come up. They'd be able to do some crazy shit.
But how cool would a zoo be with all the animals on meth?
That'd be a little bit crazy, don't you reckon?
It would be a little bit crazy. It'd be interesting. You might find them placid, you might find them more ferocious. You don't know. You just don't know how they're going to react. Can
you imagine like a lion like smoking some weed or something? Just chilled the fuck out.
You
just
want it
mellowed
to be
out.
Wilder and crazier.
But you want it to be wilder and crazier.
Well, if you're going to the zoo, you don't want a sleeping animal. You want an animal that's going crazy.
Well, you have it chill. Can you imagine it just chilled out there just like this? Just sitting there. And then like 2 seconds later it goes with whatever substance in the water and it just goes crazy.
That's you with your missus tonight. I mean, not really.
If she lets him.
if she's got a choice. Hey, and what about those guys that they found? Those Canadian guys, they found them in the scrub.
I vaguely heard this story, but they
perished or something. I think they finally got them.
Well, they were very weird the way they they wouldn't say a lot about. No, it's just like they were found, and that's kind of let's just leave it at that. Testing. Yeah,
it was kind of it. Well, clearly they don't want people actually knowing what the fuck actually happened. What?
No.
Well, it sounds more like they killed themselves because normally they would just say something happened.
Yeah, it tends to sound like that. To be honest, I'd agree with that.
Maybe they thought they were going to get caught, and then
they would have shot out. They would have had a big shooting and stuff, and then they just maybe took their own lives. I mean, it was weird, very weird situation.
The whole thing is weird, like how did it happen?
Very weird.
Yeah, they do whatever they've done. They then disappear, and then you're right.
They knew what they were going through. It was, probably death wish or whatever, but it's a weird way. It's a mysterious world, boys.
It is.
We have no idea what's going on. Right, what else has happened in this wonderful world?
What else is happening in Florida, you mean?
Well, yeah, that's true. Let's be honest. A lot happens down in that part of the world.
Here's a nice one. A woman was charged after peeing on potatoes in Walmart.
Oh,
She turned herself in as well to police following a bizarre photo.
Did the potato sprout after her?
I guess. What if Walmart thanked her and said, "Thank you for improving our..."
When you're talking about urinating on the actual potatoes, is that where they get the term like acid genes? Like, did people just piss on their genes when they in the old days and stuff?
Probably.
I just thought about it with the urine thing. But anyway, it's okay. Yeah.
Well, with fashion, it always becomes like whatever is the lowest thing becomes like classy and whatnot. So what if people start peeing in their jeans and that becomes fashionable, and then all of a sudden you start buying new jeans that are pre-peed in?
Yeah.
so you need to take a piss before the show. So you should have just taken a piss down your leg, and then we can sell them on eBay.
Well, after pushing the car, I felt like I felt like a golden trail down the side. It was If it wasn't, it was a hernia. One of the two. It was a big car too.
What a great job that would be, though, if your job was to pee on jeans professionally.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's something you could ever think about doing, Nick?
No.
Pissing on?
No, but they had a few years ago. They had this magazine on the worst jobs in the world, and they were scaling down the worst jobs, and there was this there were these mannequins in France, and they had to the person's job was to scroll in the vagina with a pencil for these mannequins that were selling. And
that's the worst job. How is
that? And that's what they put it down to.
How would you compare that to? I mean, there are so many bad jobs in the world. Things where you're like nearly dying and whatever. All you have to do is draw with a little bit of pencil.
I know.
Same with like peeing on jeans. That would be an awesome job. I would do that job if
All you
it
gotta do
was
is
a high-paying job where all you had to do all day is pee on jeans. That beats hard manual labor.
It does.
It's not hard. All you got to do is...
And you feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although maybe it'd be very hard to pee for 8 hours a day.
Well, if you drink enough water, you will.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water to be...
Well, you're drinking 3-4 litres of water, it's going to come out one way or the other, let's be honest. So...
All right. Well, speaking of weird jobs and whatnot, he needs to learn about your disclaimer that you wouldn't. So Marcus would not wear women's panties for one day for $10,000.
Yeah, I refuse to.
Really?
Yeah, I refuse to.
That's the quickest 10 grand you've ever made. Okay. I mean...
Would you wear women's panties for 10 grand for a day?
Yeah, I'd do that. Yeah.
Like no one
Why
would
do
have
I
any
feel like-
shame
I feel
about
like an
You're the
idiot.
only
Yeah, I
person
feel like
who's
an
like,
idiot at
oh,
this
this is
point,
so
anyway.
bad or whatever. For $10,000, it's like, who gives a shit?
$10,000. Yeah, it's not exactly. Yeah, it's not the hardest.
Yeah, and
think it's
everyone
worse
would
than-
understand. Like, it's not even embarrassing. People would be like, yeah, no, if someone legitimately offered me that, I would do it. Like, no one's going to say, oh, that's a stupid thing to do.
I feel like more an idiot for not actually saying yes to this, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's such a stupid thing that we
Yeah, I
keep talking
know.
about it because, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it's
You're
idiotic.
right. A lot of the things that I say don't make sense, let's be honest.
I could vouch for that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Everyone
Yeah,
understands.
The motivator is an amazing man.
Why don't you give him some of your motivational theories?
Well, I've given this in private already.
Well,
I've given
we're
him
not
some of
in
his
private now, so
wonderful motivational.
Go.
Well, tell me some of the things you've been struggling with lately. We've spoken about this, that you'll feel comfortable talking about.
Where do you want to start? Where do you want to finish?
We've got all night.
Well, struggling with the swing at the moment. I'm struggling with that.
Just
There's a few issues with my body, which is changing. But I'm not wearing women's panties. It's not effective.
Maybe that'll help you game.
Yeah, probably.
You never know.
Would, yeah.
do you think you
Imagine you found out that's what the
Well,
the
if they
trick is.
found out I could hit off the red and be, I've got an extra 40 metres on every hole. I don't mind about that. I'll take that on board. Yeah.
do you think
Wait, imagine finding out that's like Tiger Woods' secret trick is he wears women's panties.
He's
and
on the juice. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
He's been on the juice all his life.
that's also known as women's panties.
Yeah.
Do you reckon you should wear women's panties next time you play golf, and you think that might empower you a bit more?
10,000?
Oh, I haven't got 10,000 to give you.
Okay. No, well, no.
You can bench test it. You can see play one day without and then one day with.
Are they clean?
We get to choose any.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get to choose whether they're clean or not.
And how do I test? How do I test?
By wearing them. You can do the old sniff test. Yeah.
If you can get it past your tits and you know it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing we were talking about last week. Like, there's a whole industry of people selling women's panties online, right?
Yep.
How do you know that it's authentic, that the person that you're buying the women's panties of is actually wearing them? How do you know it's not just random men?
That's true. That's true.
Can you imagine buying it and then wearing it and you smell some dude?
The idea is not to wear it. The idea is to smell it, obviously. You're not buying used women's panties to wear.
Some people would, definitely.
Why would you wear it? Clearly it's to like sniff them or whatever.
Well, that's what some people would. So what other things can the motivator help you with that you're prepared to discuss on camera with?
Well, your initials are MH, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you came to the club one day with MM, which is
I did.
Marcus the motivator.
I did come to the club with
You don't seem to have it
MTM.
tonight, so I don't understand.
I did.
You are the man.
I am the man.
Well, if you're the man, you should be wearing the hat.
I know I did forget to bring the hat
It's
because
not good enough.
I know I agree. It's
Got
not
to be
good
on
enough.
brand at all times.
It has to be, yeah, absolutely.
I do agree with that.
So what are you saying? That what should I do?
Well, what do you think? What do you think you're struggling with? Where do you think I can help you with?
I don't know.
Relationships.
I've got that going pretty well.
You got well. Then talk about how good you've got your relationships going. Then
How good is it going?
Yeah.
Well, it's really weird. It's a relationship that I started 25 years ago, and I've reconnected, and it's quite bizarre. And after 2 years, I've been back with her, and it's awesome. It's excellent. And it was sort of like it was supposed to meant to be, but it just we're on different journeys at the time. So when I was with her when I was young, we drifted apart, but then she tracked me down, and now we're together. So it's really, really weird.
that sounds really good that you've managed to be able to actually find that.
Well, that's the only one I can hang on to. At the moment. So, it's a bit of a distance. Mount Martha, so not around the corner. So,
well,
we have our urges, but not 50 minutes in the car, if you know what I mean.
well, some people have urges that take them to the other side of the world. So
They do.
So 50 minutes in the car is
50
nothing.
minutes is not that
50
far.
minutes is nothing. So
Up and back, though.
well,
Yeah.
Well, spend the night. And
you can spend the night and then head back the next morning.
I
So
had a few run-ins where I've driven there. I lasted 5 minutes and gone back in the car and then gone. And you go, oh my God, what happened there? What happened? But anyway, it's all going good. Yeah.
well,
So I just got a few problems with the golf. What else?
just visualize with the golf what you want to do. That's all it's about.
Really?
Just visualize it and just
What do you
go.
visualize?
women's panties.
Yeah.
Well, when I play golf, I just go, I'm going to hit the ball there, and it goes there.
Okay.
That's all I do.
What if it doesn't?
That,
Then you yell and
most of the-
swear and
exactly.
snap your...
Then I throw
Stop.
golf clubs as well
I haven't seen you
sometimes.
throwing a club. Oh, hang on. No.
I've seen you throw a golf club.
Oh, look, I had a bit of a slip
Yours
a few
almost-
weeks ago, but I was frustration because there are a few things that have changed on my body in the last month because I've had back problems and stuff, and now I'm seeing this guy who's a member of our club, and he's actually quite amazing. You know, Bill McTee.
I know the man, yes.
So he's got me in this back machine, and it's doing amazing things, but it's changing my whole way of swinging a club. It's quite weird. But yeah.
Well, that's good.
So you guys went to school together?
We went to school
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, really?
Well, they're 3 years apart.
2 years apart.
years
2 years apart. We were.
Right.
So-
I was actually in his brother's year.
yeah, he's in my brother's
Okay.
year, so
Cool.
that's how.
Excellent.
We used to catch the bus together.
Yeah.
Wow.
He almost caused a bus
I
strike.
thought we could have caught the bus. It would have been a lot easier.
You're right, catching the
Would
bus.
have been
Except
harder to
that-
push though.
Exactly. The bus breaks down.
We're really fucked. You're right.
Yeah.
Unless Marcus is banned from buses.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Do you wanna tell him
no,
the
I
story?
almost got banned from buses one day because I tipped some water on a bus driver's seat because he was getting off the bus and going to the toilet, not at the end of the journey, and while people were still on board, and I'm like,
Is this a school bus or
this,
normal bus?
wow, it's
It's a school bus.
school bus.
Okay.
There was apparently almost a bus strike over it as well, to be honest. That would have been rather interesting if that had have actually happened. So, a school kid causing a bus strike that
I don't think they would have really striked over it, but they might
you
have.
never know. They might have. Anything's possible.
Surely they wouldn't actually go on a full-on strike over.
Oh, you never know.
Well, what are they going to even demand?
Probably not. You're right. They probably wouldn't. So
All they can really demand is you apologize. Like they're not going to.
they'd kind of.
It's not like they're asking for more money or something.
Yeah,
It's,
that's true. So they kind of did that. So what else has been going on in the world of Florida?
where am I?
In just Florida, is it?
No, this is all over.
Or are we going to head to where else are we going to head to next time?
Okay, let's go to one in Florida. A Florida couple's toilet exploded Sunday when lightning struck their septic tank.
Well, I think this. Sorry, keep going.
Well, no, the toilet, the lightning blew up their toilet.
Well, I think this is appropriate for you to answer, Nick, considering what do you do as a profession?
Blow up toilets.
I am a plumber by trade.
He is a plumber by trade.
So don't give me the shits. Yeah.
So, can you talk about how would you deal with a situation if you got a phone call and someone said a lightning's blown up my toilet and there is literally shit everywhere?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't know how to take it. It's quite unfortunate. So, do you have anyone to do it? And then try and palm it and get out of it. Because you're just thinking of a catastrophe by the time you get there. Yeah, absolutely. Especially your septic. You don't know how much is rolling around. So, yeah.
Well, I would assume that if that happens, it would be all over your room,
Yeah.
which would be a fun sight. What's the worst thing that you've had
Yeah,
to deal
you would
with?
have seen. You would have seen. You got a story about the best scenario you've seen, a job you've walked into?
Well, it's.
You'd have some good ones, surely.
I've got some. I've got a few pearlers, but the one. I should be telling this one.
Yes,
Yes,
you
you-
should.
You want to hear it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
If you say that.
So I was an apprentice to my late brother, and at the time, we didn't get along that well. And anyway, we had this job in Davis Avenue in South Yarra.
You may want to get the address.
Well, we know the street and suburb already.
Let me
so
tell
that's
you,
good
I'll
enough.
take this to my grave. The funny thing about it was we were working in this downstairs apartment, and anyway, he always used to say, "Do this and do that." And anyway, this one day we got sent to this apartment, and then it had a blocked drain, and so anyway So I went inside, and this place was really dirty. Like it was filthy. So we went in there, and what made me laugh, there was this stove, and on top of the stove, the person who used to light the stove used to get the match and light it and just flick the match over. And by the time they were finished cooking, it actually grew this pyramid of burnt matches where you couldn't put a pot on the stove. So there was only one out of the 4 burners, and it was just full of burnt matches, right? So I thought, geez, that's a bit weird. So his drain was blocked, and anyway, the next minute, it was the ground floor one, and it's this driveway. Anyway, I opened the inspection opening on the pipe, and as I've gone to poke it, this rush of... I've never seen so much fried rice in my life. I swear. These people, I have never. I thought it was a white Christmas. It was that much fried. And it was bellowing down bellowing down this driveway. And I've gone, shit, look at the skis. Let's go down on it. And I've never seen so much rice. At that time, we were doing it, and 2 stories up, there was this woman, and she leaned over the banister and said to me, "Excuse me, would you have anything sharp or pointy?" to me. And I said, "Oh, look, I've got a screwdriver. Is that any good?" She said, "That'd be great." So anyway, I gave her no, it was actually a wood chisel. And I don't know why. We never carried wood chisels, but I had this old thing, and I gave it to her. So that was the end of that. And then about 20 minutes later, she stuck her head over this rail again. She goes, "Listen, I've got a block basin as well. Do you mind if you can come up and unblock it?" And I went, "Okay, no worries." And I sort of turned to my brother, and he started laughing at me. And I'm going, "What's going on?" He goes, "Just go up there and unblock it." And I went, "Oh, okay, no worries." So I started walking up to the apartment, and it was a 1-bedroom apartment. When you walked in the door, the lounge was there. The back left-hand corner was the back bedroom, and I went into a bathroom. So I walked in, and she goes, "I'm in here," and it was coming from out the back. And I went, "Oh yeah, no problems." And I was this pimply 17-year-old. So as I've walked in through the door, I've sort of turned with the eyes, and she's in the bed. And she goes, "It's in there." And I went, "Yeah, no problem." So as I've gone into the bathroom, this basin hadn't been, it was so manky. It was like a swamp. It was black. It was dark. It was filth. And all these wigs were around it. And there was just hair in it. It was just horrendous. And so as I've gone down to try and undo the plug on this basin, I'm looking in the corner of my left eye, and I could see her just looking at me. And I went, "Okay." And then she's gone, "Oh, you seem to be struggling. Can I give you a hand?" So as she went to get out of the bed, she was stark naked. So she got out from the top, and I said, "No, it's okay. It's all right. Stay there. It's all. I need a better grip." So anyway, I proceeded to go downstairs to the van, it was my brother's truck. And he's just laughing, his head off. And I said, "What's going on?" And he goes, "No, it's all right. Get back up there and do it." I said, "I don't want to do it." And he goes, "Do it or I'll sack you." And I said, "Okay, no, okay." So I went back up with these grips, and I fixed the job. And as I fixed the job, I left, and we finished the other job. And so we got in the car. But the woman was watching me, and I could see her from the adjacent building. There was the windows, and I could see her just peering over the banister, right? So my brother says to me, "Oh yeah, and don't forget the wood chisel," to me. I think, "You prick," like this, right? And prior of him laughing at me, he said, "It's a bloke." And I went, "Well, it's a tranny." And he going, Yeah. He said, "It's Karen Cameron." And I went, "Who the hell's Karen Cameron?" I said, and then that's when he said to me, "Get up there and finish it." So anyway, I went up these flight of stairs, and as I've gone, I'll never forget it. As I've walked up, she's coming towards me, and she went, "Oh, thanks very much. It was really good of you. Thanks for. And here's your wood chisel back." And as she's gone up, she's gone, "How about a wild head job?" And I go, "What?" And she goes, "How about a wild head job?" And I went, "Oh no, I've got too much work to do." So I've gone back down the stairs, gone back in the truck, and I was just like white as a sheet. 2 weeks later, this is a true story. One of my brother's mates of a mate's was at this Bucks turn. And they're all having a crack at me saying, "Oh, Nick, you got done by this girl called Karen Cameron." And this voice came from the side and goes, "Karen Cameron?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Mate, that's the best head job I've heard in my life." But the funny irony was this Karen Cameron was on the Truth magazine. You ever heard of the Truth? It was called the Truth newspaper, and it used to be a centerfold piece. And she used to be on the front cover. And it turned out she made love to 3 Test cricketers.
Wow.
And Yeah, she was renowned.
I was gonna say, how the hell did they know the name?
Karen Cameron,
Yeah.
yeah. So she was well known. She was one of the leading trannies in Melbourne, and funny enough, I'll never forget. I went to the Tok H. You ever heard of the place called the Tok H? It was in Toorak Road, and I'll never forget. I went in there and I saw her at the bar, and I just froze. I thought, oh my god. So yeah, so his name was Rob Cameron, alias Karen Cameron. It was one of many things that happened. Yeah, it was
Well,
funny.
that at least puts you in the same level as 3 Australian Test cricketers.
Well, yeah, supposedly it did, and
Well, actually above, because you turned it down.
well, yeah, I know, but I was pretty young and pimply and didn't know what was going on, and but it wasn't, yeah. Not to mention almost getting sacked again. It was about the 12th time I was sacked, but anyway, it was just really, really bizarre. But I had many and many of episodes like that. Especially, even this morning, I had another episode working for the agent I've been working for the last 34 years, and I was in Grey Street, and that was a
Grey Street, St Kilda.
yeah. So I was,
We took my friend from Ireland there to see it, and we actually saw.
I
someone
just don't
picking up a
flinch
hooker.
anymore. I've just got to the burnt out stage where there could be a mugging, there could be a shooting. Oh, they're having fun, no worries. They're enjoying themselves. I was bleeding a bit, but there's always a hospital down the road. And it was really, really weird. And this woman rang me up at 8 o'clock this morning and said to me, we've got a blocked toilet. And I went, and I was at my partner's place in Mount Martha, my girl's place. And I said, look, I've got to go. This girl's trying to contact me and she's told me, can you come down and fix it? And I said, yeah, no worries. And lo and behold, so I rang this girl and I said, will you be home? And she goes, oh, well, I'm not really sure. And I said, well, look, I've worked with the agent. I can grab some keys. I can be there within an hour and a half, fix the job and leave. Oh, well, I'll run it through my boyfriend. I said, okay, I'll get back to me. So I'm driving back from Mount Martha to Bunnorris, and about 35 minutes later, I ring her and I said, well, what's going on? Have you rung him? Oh, I forgot. Sorry, I get this all the time. I said, well, can you give him a call? So she goes, I'll call him. So she rings me back about 10 minutes later. I can't get in touch with him. I said, you're joking? And she goes, no. And then I said, well, look, I can get the keys. And she goes, oh, look, I said, look, it's all good. I can go in. I'll knock on the door. Okay, if you could do that, it'd be great. So I go to the agents, pick up the keys, and I go, of course, Grey Street, you don't know where to park. It's opposite the Sacred Heart Mission, where there's people having a good time as well. So I thought, whatever. And so I've got into it's like Joker. I mean, it's this prison. So I go through this first gate, bang, oh, beautiful, got the keys. First gate, no worries. Get into this second one in the getting into the apartment. So I get into that one too. Get up to the top one. Can't get into the first lock, got in, no problem. Then there's a top lock. I'm just going, can't get in. Just banging this door because he's home, right? He's home asleep supposedly. And I'm banging this door. I could not have made any more noise, right? So the next minute, can't get in. So I ring the girl, I said, listen, it's not happening today, right? Can't do it, can't fix it. And she goes, oh, I appreciate what you're doing. I said, no worries. I said, look, I'll ring the agency. So this dingling agent says to me, I've got another key. It was like a magic key. I'll come down with it, he says. I said, okay, no worries. So I wait another 10, 15 minutes out the front, no parking, Sacred Heart, people. and then he's come down and the next minute he goes, oh, let's go up, right? And I said, no worries. So I've got the keys to get the 2, but not the 3rd. So anyway, I get in, get the 3rd one, and I've made that much commotion and noise. So anyway, he's got this key and it went in, opened the door, right? As I walked in the door, this guy came out in his undies who was so
Were they women's undies?
He was not women's ones. He was so out of it that it was physically impossible not to, with that noise that I made. This guy, he unfortunately, I think he was just junkie, but he came out, he didn't ask me who I was, what I was doing, what are you doing in my apartment? And then the agent saw him in his undies, in his bonds, and he went, I'll leave you with it. And he just walked out the door. He did the Bernie Bolt, went out the door and left me with this. And I walk into this toilet, and there's 3 buckets like he's Robinson Crusoe collecting his own turds. It was just not a highlight. And then I've got to go and play golf and make out as I'm having a great day.
So what's a worse? What's the biggest shit situation, that or having to play golf with me? Because you've got to deal with a lot of shit. Because you've obviously got to deal with a lot of shit.
There's a lot of banter, and we put a lot of shit on each other. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun. We have a great time. It's a lot of fun.
We do.
And we have all these little side bets and things that put a bit of pressure on each other, and it's actually a really good bond.
It is.
I play with 2 other guys that rain, hail or shine. We're there every week, so it's just another phase in your life where you really enjoy it. It's great. It's really, really good.
It is quite good. Right. What else have we got in the world? Any more?
Well,
Can it be not Florida?
Surely.
Because it sounds like the place I'll never go to.
At the moment, we're not heading back to Florida.
Why not? Florida's all the fun.
Frankston's the new Florida, I believe.
Very similar, I think.
Yeah.
Marcus, you can read out the next one. What is that? So have you ever done one of these?
A Tahitian face mask.
Tahitian?
Do you know what that is?
No.
Well,
Marcus,
a Tahitian face mask is a specific sexual act with specifically ordered steps when a man or woman lies down and a man or woman places plastic wrap over the face of the person, and the person who wrapped up the face takes a shit on the plastic wrap, places another piece of plastic wrap on top so as to sandwich the shit in between the 2 layers of plastic upon the person's face.
Is it Glad? Because it's got to be firm.
I'm assuming it's probably got to be Glad.
Yeah, you wouldn't want an Aldi.
What do you usually use, Marcus?
And then, all right, it gets better. And then punches the plastic wrapped
swishes.
face of the person, thus causing it to, squish all over and produce the effect of a mask.
So what were those things at school when you used to do the 2 sides and you paint it and you went like that and you strung together and it was like a...
It's like a handprint shit, whatever.
Yeah, but you do blobs and stuff, and then it'd be the same sort of.
Or it could be like photocopying your ass or some shit.
Except you're swallowing a turd, which is not a great thing.
Oh, I'm sure some people out there might enjoy having shit as a facial, basically. So,
Why do you enjoy it, Marcus?
why do I enjoy it?
Why do you enjoy it?
Well,
There's just things we don't know about.
Tell us.
Gives me a relaxing experience sometimes.
Relaxing.
Just the stench of shit everywhere, all over my face. Yeah, I can only deal with it for a certain period of time before the stench, unfortunately, becomes overwhelming. But
not a highlight.
Not a highlight.
No.
Doesn't highlight my skin. It kind of just cleans it all up. Just exfoliates and gets the shit out of my skin, basically.
Yeah.
So to speak.
If you choked on it, then you could call a plumber. You could call a plumber to clear it for you.
I need a gurney. I need a gurney and a bit of hope. It's pretty hard to get out.
How much shit have you actually dealt with in your professional career as a plumber?
On course or work?
In your professional career at work? Not on course.
Well, I've had a lot of instances where there's been quite a number of. I'll never forget this one time I was working in St Kilda and this house was just horrendous. It looked like a rat wouldn't live in it. And the woman had a blocked toilet and we had one of these guns, these gas bulb guns. I used to use those soda bulbs, the soda bulbs. They used to use them to make soda water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what you mean, yeah.
Well, I've got one of these things that you put into it and it's got a hole. You place it into the bowl and you use the high pressure on it. And I'll never forget that I was with my brother one day anyway. This thing, I've gone to push it and exploded, and this turd went went straight up, and it was like this cubicle. And as it's come back down, I sort of went like that. I hit the ground. And the carpet, they had carpet in there.
Oh, God.
It was just black. It was manky. And I just looked at my and goes, mate, they wouldn't know it was there. Just don't worry about it. Let's just go. And so I just walked out. And it was just horrendous. But there was smear marks everywhere. It just looked like artwork after a while.
Why would anyone carpet a fucking bathroom?
Oh, there's some, people don't like having bare feet on a carpet for some reason, and it's really really funny. It's like my sister just recently, about 8 months ago, she came back on us. She's a teacher, and she came back. She went over with a group of girls, and she's quite old now. She's 61. The weird irony of it was she went to Japan, and she loves their anal ways, meaning like their toilet seats, and they're warm, and they gyrate, and and there's pulsating. And so she goes, I have to get one of those. It's the best, having a warm toilet seat. So anyway, she was talking all about it. Anyway, they had a big sale on at Costco. And so she rings me up and she says to me, I bought a new toilet seat. It's a warm one. Can you fit it for me? And I got it on a sale. And I said, how much was it? And she said it was $9.50 down to $6.50. And I went, right, that's pretty full on to have a quiet.
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen those and was thinking about it.
Yeah, you were.
But it was like, yeah,
it's make or break.
Yeah.
Your ass. So anyway, she goes, "Can you come and have a look at it for me?" So what they didn't tell you at Costco was it needed to be hardwired, which is not a good start. So I went around there, and so she's got a close couple toilet in her place, and so the wire had to come up through the back, so you had to butcher the wall, run the wire up through a cavity wall, and then have it all connected. And I said to her, to the shock and the disappointment, without even, they didn't say it'll fit all toilets. You had to find out the hard way. So she had to take it back to Costco. So it didn't happen. So she was gutted, absolutely gutted. So what do? Live and learn.
That's true. How do you get? I mean, when you're fitting and installing shit.
Well, I don't fit it. I don't fit shit. I just get rid of it.
You just get rid of it.
I'm not Kenny pumping it. Trying to get it out.
Well, Marcus's only experience with a plumber was fitting it.
Marcus, obviously, Marcus hasn't tread on the deep side of plumbing.
No, I haven't, to be honest.
Tahitian face mask.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Well, you'll get a full gist of it because you just purchased a house, and you'll find today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually.
What's the address for everyone else?
Yeah, back's onto a brothel, but it's
win-win.
It's a win-win. If you don't get it at home, you just jump the fence and you get in there. So
or you can just listen and,
Yeah. Have I got credit in this place? Yeah, go on, Marcus, you're back here. So it's good value.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to have an interesting adventure. I'll be dealing with some shit.
What are you looking forward to moving into this house?
I don't know, to be honest.
Someone's phone.
That's mine. Who would be calling me? Simon Toussaint. What's he want?
Yep.
Answer it and see what happens.
This is an old golfing mate of mine. What do you want, you hack? I'm actually doing a. You don't want to. I'm not making things up. I'm with. It sounds a bit sus, but I'm actually doing a recording. They actually find me fascinating, not like you deadbeat. And they're finding that they want to know about my past and the current situation of how I perform. So I'm with two other guys, and I'm with Marcus, the motivator.
Yes.
Motivator, not the rejuvenator. Yeah. Really? Have you? Hey, listen, do me a favour. Do something different. Try and make love to your wife for a change, all right? Do something different, all right? Hey? Hey, what's it called? I've got mine in my glasses. Tahitian. Give her the Tahitian face mask. She'll love it. Hey? Just, are you near Aldi? Get some Glad wrap. Huh? Can you? Hey? That's a big stepper from Bobby the Beef Puppet, mate. All right? You know exactly. Yeah, you place it over her face. Yeah? Hey, listen. Hey? And she might even like it. Give her that. Hey? And you got to use 2 strands of it, not one. It'll break through. All right? Just. Do you know what it is? We're actually been talking about it with Marcus the Motivator. It's actually putting some Glad wrap over her mouth, which is most women deserve. And then what you do is you lay a log. You put two layers on, and then you put one on. You lay the log, and then you put another layer on top, and then you push on it, and it squishes into their mouth. Hopefully, and then you say shit happens. That sounds Greek. No, it's nothing to do with my past, mate. Yeah. Yeah, all right. Well, yeah. Child Protective Services. Really? No, they don't need to know anything, mate. Yeah. Oh, well, the food is a little bit... Oh, there's hardly any food in the fridge, but you know what? Things don't go off in my fridge. Okay. All right, well, listen, I'll catch you later. I'm doing this thing here, so can you do me a favour and piss off? Bullshit? No. I try this thing on her tonight. I tell you what, it'll either be a goer or a breaker. All right? Give her the face mask. And then when she says to you, just say to her, listen, why don't you try Greek? You can't walk for a week, all right? I'll speak to you later. See you, mate. Bye. Bye. That's my fruity friend. I haven't seen him for... Are you all right over there?
Yeah, we're just enjoying it.
That was outstanding.
I've known him 30 years, and he's quite funny.
So you're Greek by background.
By background, yeah, I am. My dad's Greek, my mum's Australian.
So is there anything kind of that you do as maybe being a Greek Aussie that's a bit different from anything else? Is there anything that we need to know about you that we don't?
No. Oh, no, not really. I just consider myself, I like the Greek background. I like the culture. I've been there quite a number of times, but I love being an Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anything with your past is extremely important, especially an ethnic background. I think it's fantastic. But yeah, anything to do with where you're from, especially your roots. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. How many times have you been back to Greece?
I've actually, funny enough, I haven't.
And when was the last time you actually got back there?
Well, this is really weird, but I've been 10 times to Greece.
Yep.
I got married in Greece.
Yep.
And the last time I went there and I got divorced in Greece. So I don't have a really good record, and my son was 2.5 when it all went pear-shaped. So I actually haven't been there, and I'm going there next year, hopefully with this new girl that I've reconnected with after 25 years.
Well, let's hope. Yeah, let's hope Greece works out a bit better for you than it did last time.
Not, I'll tell them about the Tahitian face mask.
Maybe visit Tahiti.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be better than what they're offering.
That's true. Right. Do we have anything else we can keep going on with?
A young family have hit out it after visiting a products advertised website. Mm-hmm. There was actually an Asian porn site.
Oh.
What was the product they were looking for?
They visited a home bargain store and bought a pot of aroma wax melts, which is melting wax that generates a scent.
Yep.
And when they visit the product's website, aromawaxmelts.com, as displayed on the packaging,
Yeah.
they were left speechless as only pornographic imagery could be seen.
Well, I'm sure you get all kinds of scents going to that website,
Yeah.
I imagine.
Well, I don't even understand. Well, what kind of Asian porn site would be using aromawaxmelts.com?
A bit kinky, probably, I'd imagine.
Some Tahitian face masks.
Yeah, be down that line.
Asian, I was, my wife, my ex-wife was Asian, and it's quite funny because most of them, she had a Vietnamese background, and most of them are called Lee, and but if you were to, I had this thought one day many years ago, if you were to meet a Chinese girl, the last thing you'd want is a name Pong, would you? I mean, imagine having a name called Pong.
Why?
Well, it's not a great start, is it? Having a name called Pong.
Why?
Well, what if she reeks? It's not great, is it?
Stinky Pong.
Yeah.
Well, what does Pong have to do with it?
Well, it's because there is a name called Pong. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. I think it's not a great name.
Why though?
Well, what if you sort of go down for the growl? You go down and you realise it really fits her name. It's not great, is it?
Well, so Pong means something.
No, it's a name, just her name. Pong.
Yeah. But
Pong.
yeah, I don't get what difference would that be with.
What if she stinks?
What if she stinks and her name's not Pong?
Well, I think it's like it fits the bill though, doesn't it? The name fits the bill though. So
How?
you wouldn't want it. Well, it's sort of like be avoided. What's your name? Pong. Okay, do you stink? Yeah, well, I don't really go there.
Perfect pickup.
It's sort of like saying she could
Have you
say,
ever tried that in the bar?
she could say I'm Elizabeth, but you think, oh, hang on a minute, Elizabeth, that sounds all right. But then you realise she's a dud too. But at least you know, where you stand with this girl.
Yeah.
I'm Pong. Okay, well, it doesn't look good for us, does it?
You probably stink.
You probably stink.
I don't know. I still don't get where the Pong.
You know?
I think Pong generally in what Western culture kind of means that some sort of stench. There's some sort of
Really?
Pong.
No.
Pong.
You didn't know that word.
Never heard that.
You've never heard that word.
No.
It's
Wow.
I mean, I
we need to
originally was
teach.
thinking you're going down some ping pong route with
No, well, that's the thing. Well, that's what I think.
a ping ponged
Yeah,
that's a completely different story.
that's a different
ping pong
story.
pong.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Imagine this is a game of ping pong to pong.
Yeah.
But so
Who
if
smells
you,
of pong.
Well, yeah.
why would a website? Why would an organisation selling aromatic,
Aroma.
aroma candles, scented candles? I mean, do they?
That side of things makes sense because the name is clearly related to it. But
Yeah.
what kind of Asian porn is like smelling porn?
So how do you get the? Is it just the scent or is it just the? is it
wax.
the wax? Yeah. So how does it become porn if it's a?
Well, that's the name of the website. So the website on the box is aromawaxmelts.com.
But does it turn you on when it smells?
No, it's just regular smelling, generating a
That's
scent.
false advertising.
That is definitely false advertising.
That's not great at all.
Unless it's like scent. The porn is smell scent. Like it's like an added sense to the porn, and you're
Yeah.
meant to like light the particular thing to generate that smell while you're watching that porn.
Well, I'm sure someone would want to get off on certain smelling scented candles.
I agree.
Well, it's taking VR to the next level because there's VR porn out there now. So, but you can't
Virtual
smell
reality,
the VR porn. So, what if you could somehow?
I'm sure
smell
they'd
it?
create some sort of way of that happening at some point.
that's
I
what these
reckon
people do.
that's what
I'm
probably
actually
it could
thinking
be.
of the Tahitian face mark with my girlfriend. I either make it or break it. You know what I mean?
You want to have a crack
I
at
don't-
the
I don't think
Tahitian
she-
face
well,
mask?
I don't think it'll really work.
How do you bring up the topic of conversation?
Yeah, how do you reckon you bring that one up?
What
I'll-
are there's people
I
at
think
home?
it's
There's
a-
people at home who want to
think
know.
I
Yeah.
wanna try
How do you-
something-
can you give some advice?
I really
'Cause-
want to try something different and just
Yep.
say what? I'd say, well, could you close your eyes? Do you have any glad wrap in your drawer? And then she'll say, oh, and she goes, well, actually, I'm really feeling, I really need to go to the toilet. Can you just lie there for a minute? I'll be out in a minute. And then she goes, when do I, no, just keep closing your eyes. I'll be with you in a minute. And then you drop a cable on it. I mean, it's sort of, I think it either brings you together or it's either going to work or not work in the relationship. I think it's quite critical.
Well, it's like betting on a long shot. It's either
it's definitely
amazing.
Well, the thing on your face is a long shot, isn't it? So let's face it.
What if you meet a girl and let's just say you meet Pong at a restaurant? She's amazing. She doesn't smell, but and then she goes home. She tells you she's kind of into some, kinky stuff, but she wants to tie you up a little bit. She puts a blindfold on you. She turns the lights off.
Yeah.
And then you get some glad
wrap.
Glad wrap, yeah.
At what point do you stop?
It's interesting.
After you come?
It's interesting.
I reckon there's potential to keep
the
going.
problem is that you're there, you're already tied up or whatever.
I think you can ask yourself questions. If the glad wrap wasn't in the kitchen and it's in the bedroom, you're going, hang on a minute. What are you doing
just got it hidden in the drawer, so you don't know.
Okay.
And then all the lights are off. You're blindfolded. You think that she's just going to have some fun, and then
next minute later, you've got.
Couldn't you play darts or pinochle? I mean, not to go through those extremes, have funning out and all these things.
Could, but you got to.
People are different out there, aren't they?
Some people want to when they're getting to know someone or whether they're the right person, whether they're getting to know whether they're the right person, they want to take it.
The right person.
They want to take it to they want to take it to a different level. They want to take it to a level that's just. It's not like the next level. It's just like. It's not a level that's the next one up. It's on I don't know, you're completely different.
And at what stage do they say, are you fine with this?
Yeah.
When they're smearing you seem to be gagging. Is this wrong? What's going on? Aren't you enjoying this? God, I thought we were a team. Yeah.
What kind of foreplay leads to that? How do you ease into that?
It's weird. It's really weird. But, there's always hope, isn't there? Is there anything else you got there?
I think we've pretty much.
You gone through it all?
Actually,
it sounds like Florida's not the destination to go to at the moment.
Well, what do we reckon the destination is to go to after all?
If you could go to anywhere,
where do you reckon it would be?
That's interesting. Depends what you're into. If you're
what
into
are you into? What are you?
Well, for yourself, what do you reckon?
Anywhere.
What do I like?
Well,
I actually like.
Other than Tahiti, obviously.
No, I actually like sun and water because I'm a crab. I'm a Cancer. I like sun and water. That's my sign. What's your star sign?
Capricorn.
Oh, fruity. Okay, and you?
Pisces.
What? Pisces. You're a fish. We get along. I don't know about you. But So I've got to have sun. I've got to have water. I love swimming and doing all the stuff. But I like really nice hot destinations that, just to mix it up. You get a bit sick of Melbourne after a while with the weather. It's been so cold, but I like going to hot places.
So you reckon Portugal?
I've been to Portugal. I went there many years ago. I went there in 1990. I went there and stayed in Lagos, which is very, very, it's very, very English. It's a bit like Mallorca sort of feel about it. But I went down from Madrid. Made my way down to Portugal.
Any crazy stuff happen on any of these trips?
There was one night. Yeah, I was in Portugal, and one of the guys that I was with these guys that only lasted 2 weeks because I left them because they were just dickheads, and I couldn't stand the way they were getting pissed every night, but they were just abusing the rights and the wrongs. So we were in Portugal, and we got this guy who had this pub and he had this apartment, and so we got this apartment. It was a bit grungy. It looked like, so we went there to have a look at it, and we're only staying there for like a week and a half. So long ago. And we went in there and we went, yeah, it's cheap, it's great. And it looked like there was still stuff there. It looked like they just turfed the guy out a half an hour prior. And so there was stuff all around. And so they went out that night, and I just said to them, no. And this is where plumbing comes into. This is the first time where a plumber worked for me. And so they went out and they got on the gas, and I'll never forget. And then the next halfway through the middle of the night, nearly in the morning, there's a kick on the side of my bed, and I woke up and there's these two police by the side of the bed, and they're talking to me in Portuguese, and I'm just going, I don't know what you're talking about, what's going on, and they're quite. They're going off at me. And as I've got out of the bed, I went, whoosh, whoosh, and I'm in 6 inches of water, and we were the top apartment, and it flooded the whole apartment. So I just gone, holy shit. And so this place was pretty dungy. And so my bedroom was down off this hallway, and the whole place, so all the guys were so pissed, they slept through the whole lot, and we flooded the whole flat. As we've looked out the window, this poor woman was hanging out her rugs over this fence, and I've gone down this passageway, and over there there was really, really weird. Their pipes they're flexible, but they were made out of aluminium. They're really, really weird in Portugal, and they used to bend them to whatever they want, and one of them had burst. And not only it was a problem, but they were trying to get money out of us. But what happened was one of the boys gave his passport to the guy at the pub, and we couldn't get, we had our passports. So we weren't looking good. So they asked us for our passports, which was great because we didn't have them. And two, they were at the pub in the guy's safe. So luckily they saw it, and I went into this basin and saw it had been burst, and I've shown them here. And then they tried to track down the owner. Well, he did a Barney Bolt. He took off. No one knew anything. We needed our passports, so we tried to track down the guy from the pub to open up the safe, grab the, and then we just got out of there. But we gutted the whole unit out. It was gone. It was gone. It was under 6 inches of water. I've never seen so much water. And when you saw it, it was coming out like the verandas. It was just rolling over the top.
Wow.
Coming down, and it was going straight through the lady's house as well. Oh my God, it was carnage. But yeah, one of many. I've got a lot of stories.
That is wow. That is something.
And when you realise, when you have something that's so, you think of a passport and no big deal. When it gets you out of a country, and you realise how important it is, it really is. It's your livelihood, what you're holding. And it happened to me also in Germany, when my cousin, you wouldn't believe it. I knew he was in Europe, and I was in Germany. I was in Munich, and I went to the Munich festival. And he lives in Armidale, and living by Morris, like half an hour away. And there he was in the Hofbrauhaus tent. And I've just gone, oh my God, out of the hole. So I went over. I couldn't believe it. And in the Hofbrauhaus, everyone has their sections. There'd be New Zealanders and Italians, and there'd be, and there'd be Americans, and they'll all be drinking these huge steins like you'd never see. And the women that come, they bring 8 on each arm. And they're huge. They're huge, the women. And the next minute, this guy, because the Germans don't stop for anything, because it's the 2 weeks of they just party, and this guy was pissed, and he was on the top balcony, and the next minute he's jumped, and all the people went to catch him, but they decided to go like that, and he's hit the deck, broke his neck, and he died, right?
Whoa.
So the band's gone, ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da-boo. And I went, okay, well, bring in the bag, zipped him up, back into it. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. It's like, this just, what happened here? Dead, gone, out the door. It's not going to wreck my party. So the next minute, these Steins, so I wasn't with the Aussie guy, I was with the New Zealanders because they seemed a bit more neutral. And it was all about all this getting on the piss and getting ugly. And these Steins, they're starting to throw them. Like if they hit you on the head, it'd knock you out and kill you. Then they were throwing them across the room. It was crazy. But getting back to the passport, my cousin got a passport knocked off, and we're in Munich, and this was unbelievable. I still remind him to this day. He got it knocked off, the passport, and the nearest Australian consulate was in Bonn, and Bonn, it sounded like it's just around the corner, and it was 350 k's. So we had to get a train to Bonn. And so the next morning, that night we left, and it had a one stop, and that was in Bonn, and this train went for about 10 hours, and it was fast, like it was really fast, and all I remember was it arrived in at about 4 a.m., 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was -2. So I came from a hot climate to Germany, and I had hardly any clothing. And all I remember getting, and all I could hear was when the train stopped, it was a steam train, and when it stopped, I was there, and I just heard this shh, and I looked at, and it sort of jolted a bit, the train, and I sort of looked out the window, and I saw Bonn. And on the Ural train, when they mean 2 minutes past 12, they mean 2 minutes past 12 and it's off and it's gone by 100 metres. They just take off, right? So I look at and I've just gone, my God, and my cousin's asleep with his guitar. And I went, wake up, and I'm shaking the shit out of him. As I'm shaking the shit out of him, the carriage started to move and the next stop was 2.5 hours away. So we had to get off that train right there and then. So my cousin was asleep and I'm shaking him and he's waking up, what's going on? He was all disorientated, didn't know what was going on. And I said, we've got to get off. And so the trains moved so quickly there. So the next minute, the train took off. As I've done that, I've pulled the emergency brake on the train, right? Because I'm thinking I'm not going another 2.5 hours of this. So as I've done that, I've opened the door and I've thrown myself. This thing was doing at least 25 k's, and my cousin. All I just saw was my cousin, and it just went like that, and the train just went. And I've just gone. He was stuck in the train, and I was for 2. I was -2, thinking when's the next stop. And so I go to the conductor. Where is he? And he's gone. They're gone another place. And I've gone, how long? So for 5 hours, I sat there while he got a connecting train back. It was just horrendous. So then we had to go to this consulate in Bonn. And if it wasn't for me, because you feel alienated, because when you go in to an embassy, they don't know who you are. Like you can talk Australian and they go, well, yeah, how do we know who you are? You know, well, I'm Michael Mangos. This is my cousin. Well, how do we know that? And there was certain other people trying to get. So luckily I had my passport and was able to go through the chain. But for someone to be on their own trying to get through it, it's just a nightmare. So one guy was refused because he was from Australia. He married a girl over in Europe. But they lived in another country and he lost his passport and he was just screwed, and she was a foreigner. So, you know, it was just a nightmare trying to get in and trying to get your credibility and trying to get a passport to get out of the country. It was just amazing.
That's some pretty wild shit.
Oh, look, there hasn't been a thing I haven't experienced. It's just been, but there's some good things about it. I mean, at the time it's bad, but you look back on it, you reflect on it, and you think, wow, you'd never think you'd go there, but you did. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's, it's an adventure, You just got to take it and for how it comes. There's curveballs coming at you all the time. It's the way you dodge them.
It is. We've had plenty of adventures, and there's plenty more still to come.
Well, the thing is, I've never. What sort of creepy stuff have you got up to, mate?
Well, we've done plenty, which is all on film. That will come out in a later date. Shall we say? Is that about right to say, James?
Yeah,
it'll come out.
You're not squeaky clean either, James.
No, he's not. Let's be honest. No.
Really?
I'm innocent.
Oh, bullshit. You're innocent. Fuck off. He sets up half the shit that I end up in.
James.
Did I organise for him to be kidnapped? Yes. And not like
you got kidnapped.
Not like fake kidnap, like real kidnap.
Fucking prick.
You got kidnapped.
We'll say
you'll see it.
You'll see it in the movie.
Can't wait for it.
Yeah, I know. It was fucked as far as I'm concerned.
Did it affect the golf game?
No, it helped him.
I almost killed him.
Oh, bullshit.
I reckon after that, he would have been up for a Tahitian face mask. If we got other counter,
I wouldn't give him a fucking Tahitian face mask.
I ain't been to anything.
Yeah, but no, we've got lots more experience.
You'd be happy to know my legs have recovered after pushing your cards. They feel great now.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. Is there anything else?
Yeah, you posted something online.
I did. What did I?
If you want to read the first one.
The top one.
Yeah.
Secrets and cheating.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Well, that's what you titled it.
In what?
Read it.
Right. My wife does not know that I know, which is not correct. So, James, that he has been married for 14 years. No, I'm reading. I'm going to read this.
Read it properly.
James has written this, and it says, my wife does not know that I know I have been married for 14 years. We have 3 kids, all boys, but none of them belong to me. I know this for a fact, but my wife does not know that I know. Let me explain. I have no idea what I'm trying to explain here. 5 years before I met my wife, I was involved in a car accident together with 2 of my friends. We were traveling from Lagos to
Lagos again.
Abuja. I'm guessing it's somewhere in Portugal. And our car skidded off the road. I was the only survivor of that accident. My friends died. I spent about 11 months at the hospital, and that left me with a condition that says I can't have children. I gave my life to Jesus Christ and became a committed Christian after the incident. In summary, I became a pastor in a local church in my community 5 years later and met my wife in the process. I did not tell her about my condition because I was hopeful that God will heal me. 6 years into our marriage, my wife got pregnant and had our first child. To be sure, I secretly went for a DNA.
Was it his?
And it was clear I wasn't clearly it wasn't.
No.
I repeated the test for all the 3 children, and they are not mine. I have been living with this situation for the past 8 years, and I am beginning to get irritated by both the children and my wife. My wife pretended to be a good wife. She goes round preaching to young women in the church about the need to remain faithful to their partners, but she has had 3 children by another man or men I don't know. I want to confront her, but I'm confused as to how to go about the situation. I'm just angry and irritated by everyone in my house lately. I feel like a total stranger in my own home. What should they do?
Firstly, that is perfect for sound bites because you just read that as yourself. And even if you said the disclaimer thing at the start,
I know you
that's
just
easily
this is James's favorite thing to do is make me read all this crap.
Yeah.
And then what's wonderful is because it's recorded.
We have some buttons over here.
Yeah,
where
there's lots of
we
buttons.
can pre-program in saying
Kim Sir.
Yeah.
goes into the recording.
One of them is one of them still the Kim.
You are actually amazing.
One's
Yeah.
from when he was kidnapped.
One of
and
them's from when I was kidnapped.
told the kidnapper how much he loved it.
Yeah, I told the kidnapper how much I loved him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, because I actually thought I was being kidnapped and I'm going to kill the fucker and I was doing whatever I can.
Did you know him or not?
I had no idea who he was. It was one of his
Who was
mates.
it, James?
So, someone that we know. So yeah.
Yeah. So it was one of
no
his
one that
friends
he's
that
ever
Did he owe
he.
you money or something? What?
No, it
No,
was
no.
because it was-
It was just an idea, and it was just an idea of him, and he had the perfect person in mind to do it. And
So, how did he capture you? Did he have
you'll wait and see in the movie. Don't worry.
okay.
There's plenty. It's
Wow.
fucked as far as I'm concerned.
So,
Very-
advice for Marcus. Do you have any advice for Marcus and his
He
wife?
sounds like he hasn't got over it. Have you ever got over it?
Probably never get over it. Let's be
Really?
honest. And nah, couldn't give a fuck. Who cares? To be honest.
Yeah, but 3 kids to someone else's.
Well, if you've got 3 kids, if you're looking after someone else's 3 kids, I don't know what the fuck you're doing in the first place.
Yeah,
Well, it's more under the fake pretenses of the fact that it's.
Well, why the hell are you still with that person? Is beyond me. I don't know why. If you do it after, you wouldn't you leave after
the first
one?
one, you would think you would.
So
That's what you would
is
think.
he led to believe they are his kids or
Marcus,
not?
are
Or is he
you?
just taken on or is he taken on the journey of having
I don't know.
3 kids and just taking on the responsibilities of it?
Who knows?
Well, Marcus, come on, answer for us.
Oh, I don't.
Come on, motivator.
Well, I don't know why I've strung this out for so long. Seems ridiculous, doesn't it?
It does. So,
I don't know. I still don't know, to be honest, after 8 years.
is it lack of self confidence or
Probably. Should just leave, shouldn't I?
probably
Yeah, I think I might just leave. Makes it easier.
Sounds
go to Tahiti?
Go to Tahiti, get a face mask.
get a face mask.
Should sort it all out, basically. I don't think there's anything else we need to say about that, to be honest. I think I just leave and go to Tahiti.
Well,
Makes it pretty easy.
you've got your life sorted out now. So
Yeah, that's true. I do.
But
Anything-
yeah, I think you're still a bit hung up about the kidnap.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty pissed off, to be honest. I was.
Were you gagged or anything? Or were you...
You'll see.
No, he.
You'll see. It was worse.
Plenty of great, great sound bites.
Really?
Fuck you, James.
There's a lot we don't know about James.
I get stitched the fuck up by James all the time. Knowingly, knowingly in the end. So,
Well, yeah, you never.
and I never learn. Let's be honest. I read something out and I get yeah. Anyway,
Well, there was the Filipino text as well.
sorry, which one?
Well, where you blindly read the Filipino.
Oh
text.
yeah, that was funny. So I read a message out for all my fans in Tagalog, which is like Filipino language. And it basically was along the lines of, I have no idea what I'm reading. I'm an idiot for doing this, pretty much. Is that?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you're a motivational speaker asking a country to love him, and
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was actually funny because I had to read that 3 times because everyone in the room was pissing themselves laughing so hard I couldn't keep a straight face doing that.
and then the next one we did it again, but this time we switched it with tongue twisters.
Oh yeah,
Oh, the tongue twister.
yeah, the tongue twister.
Filipino tongue
Yeah,
twisters.
Filipino tongue twisters.
Sounds expensive.
Oh yeah, it was
Cheaper than a Tahitian face mask.
Yeah, true. Do we have anything else we're going with for this?
No, unless you have.
No, have you got anything else you want to?
Not really.
No, I think.
For someone who handles around toilets, I'm coming clean. I've come clean pretty hard tonight.
So
I've got more up the bag, and I've got more love to spill. But it's
Any toilet advice for anyone?
any
out there?
toilet advice or for people out there?
any toilet advice. Depends where you live and get a bit gruesome. Just get the right apparatus, I suppose. I mean, the right toilets, the right everything. Don't go cheap and nasty.
The shit literally flow the wrong way sometimes.
Oh, there's a lot of toilets out there now that we're also eco-friendly and everything. There's a lot of them out there now that just, in the old days there used to be 12 litres down to 10, and now there's toilets that flush and they're 3.5 to 4 litres. And the laws of physics are quite funny because they do block up. After a while, you get semi-blockages. So, we're all trying to save the planet, but it all comes back to bite us some shape or form.
So shit actually comes
Yeah,
back
but then
to...
at least you're stockpiling for some Tahitian face masks later on.
We've got more problems with the plastic. We got more. We're burying the plastic again. We're back to burying the plastic.
We need an eco-friendly Tahitian face mask.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an alternative to plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Some leaves.
It's crazy.
Oh, who knows what it could be.
Exactly. But it's weird how these places have closed up. That with all this plastic and everything, and now they're they're burying it, which is I think is quite funny. They're trying to find ways of getting rid of it again.
Well, did you see what happened with McDonald's? I think in America, where they had plastic straws, they switched everything to paper, and what came out this week is that the plastic straws could actually be recycled. The paper ones can't. So the plastic straws were actually better for the environment.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Nutrition-wise, I never forget this.
We're not supposed to eat it.
No, but I'll never forget that many years ago, about 30 years ago, which you guys probably weren't around that much, but they did a nutrition fact on Kellogg's cornflakes, and they tested these rats, and they actually found the actual box was more nutritious than the cornflakes. They were more nutritious, yeah.
That doesn't
surprise.
That doesn't actually surprise me, to be honest.
No, but I don't understand with all this plastic and everything. When I grew up as a kid, these paper bags I used to get at the supermarkets. You probably don't remember the plastic, the paper bags.
Well, I remember them now because people are starting to use them again.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's amazing how things come back after a while. It's like milk bottles in actual bottles. You could recycle and that. Got all those cartons, everything. But to have bags that you can actually reuse pulp and rejuvenate the bags, I don't know why. They stopped it about 30 years ago because of the cost of making paper bags. But if you've got all this plastic and you're trying to, make things biodegradable, why not go back to the original plan? I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's all absurd. Remember, so we were in McDonald's in Asia, and I can't remember if it was you or Dave, but we order on separate things. So I order, and I ask for a straw of my drink, and the woman says, we can't do that, city ordinance. It was either him or our other friend. They ordered. They didn't ask for a straw, but they were given one.
Given one anyway. Yeah, it was weird. It's a bit interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah, and this is after we'd been into the Starbucks next door before that as well.
Get the straw.
Get the straw.
They gave us straws with no thing.
Yeah, that's weird. But it's just a disposable world. I never really got into the environment that much until my partner, who's right into it, and her daughter's vegan, and I'm trying to save the planet and this and that, eating this and that. I think everything in moderation, like food, everything, but the way that everything's so disposed these days is quite scary, actually.
Yeah, it is
bizarre. Could you imagine if you had? We talk about getting if you could create a chemical to get rid of POA. Could you imagine? Out of the grass, out of the greens.
Oh, get rid of plastic.
Yeah. Could you imagine being able to? I know they've got these
degrade it.
Bags.
Degrade plastic.
Could you imagine being able to make a liquid that would
degrade plastic?
Correct.
You'd make a shit ton of cash.
Correct. Are we in
That's
on
it.
this or what?
Yeah, no one steal that.
No one
Let's
steal that
go.
No
audio.
one steal that. But could you imagine
The great
how
plastic.
much it would solve? It would just fix up so much.
Yeah,
It's
but then
amazing.
it'll probably end up fucking with something else because
The chemicals would probably
Yeah.
do some damage because the amount of shit that's already in the plastics, the amount of chemicals in plastics alone are generally pretty bad, I would have thought.
that'll work, and then it'll kill everyone in 5 years from
Correct. Yeah.
some random other thing. And
It's there must be a way. There must be a way to get rid of it. I never forget. It was really really cool. The guy, we got so many millions of dollars worth, millions of tires out there, and the funny thing about it was this guy had an idea. So say for instance, it was a bit of a scam. So say you get 4 new tires for your car. So the other 4 tires they took off your car.
Yeah.
They would charge you $20 each per tire to get rid of.
Yeah.
They would pocket the money. They would give it to the guys who collect the tires. The guys who collect the tires take it to a guy now, which is amazing, and they take it to a place where they get shredded so much into granules. Then those granules get turned into plastic pipe, and then they make plastic pipe out of the actual tires. So you think of how many cars are on the road. So there are ways of doing it.
yeah,
It's pretty amazing.
this reminds me of our favorite radio we were listening to on the way. So somewhere between Melbourne and Sydney, we listened to some radio station where.
Oh,
Firstly, they had their child in the studio, and the child was making noise. It was like a baby, and you could
Because they had
hear. You could
The
hear.
child
like,
had you know why the child had the Tahitian mask on? They start them early there, I tell you. That's quite weird. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then they were blaming. They blamed the government for setting up the farms.
yeah.
Like it was the government's fault that the farms were set up wrong.
Yeah, it was interesting, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the fact that people who set up a farm usually are just a random farmer, not the government. But they were alleging there was this massive government's conspiracy where the government had set up all the farms around Australia in the wrong place.
Right.
Seems interesting, but I
It
couldn't
is.
work out why.
What do you think
that would-
about it, Mr. Kidnapper?
Kidnappee.
Well, I don't know why.
Kidnapping.
I don't know why you'd be blaming the government for farms, because it's really got nothing to do with them. Let's be honest.
Well, I think the one benefit of a Tahitian face mark is it is it is biodegradable.
It is, but you got to get rid of the glad wrap. That's the problem.
Well, no, you eat it.
Oh, you eat it.
Yeah, why not eat the whole thing? I'm not gonna. It's a nice dessert.
It's just like a fudge, isn't it? Chocolate fudge sundae, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes you accidentally eat the spoon.
Do we finish on that note? Eating it? I think we do.
We may have to finish on that note.
I think we finish on that
starting to
note.
gag.
Yes. So,
We'll get hard, same thing.
so until next time,
Enjoy your Tahitian face mark.
enjoy your Tahitian
Yeah,
face marks,
yeah.
and